up, YouTube? Just going over to the wood yard to fill up some IBC totes and show you guys how I do it. I'm just walking across past Taiko Studio, Japanese drummers here. Probably heard them in the last video. Concert here every other day. What's up, bro? Alright, here we are. I'll show you my skid steer too while I'm here. I do have a skid steer and it's got a major pump leak. I guess the main drive pump is leaking. I'd like to use it to load these crates, but I gotta fix that thing. It's just one of many things that I gotta fix all the time. Or I gotta fix this and then I gotta fix that. It's never ending. So I might just actually get this skid steer traded out and trade it for some work that I need on my custom log splitter that I built, a high output machine that does 8 logs per cycle. If you guys haven't seen that video, check it out. It's like my second video on the channel. It was in my shop before, but then my landlord said he was going to fix it up. But then he got around to doing his own stuff. He's doing all kinds of stuff here. He's building another enclosure back there. It's actually almost done. But here's my machine, and there's all the oil that it's leaking. So I've got to get this sorted out. This thing's got to go. Hopefully before winter, I get it traded and get that work done. I also got to take my other log splitter, my single action log splitter, in for repair too, because I've got a leak. I'm not sure. I mean, I could fix the leak myself, but I'm not sure if it's the metal flange coming off of the hydraulic reservoir that's leaking, or if it's just the seal. So I just got to take off the fitting. But either way, I got to drain the oil, and I could do that stuff, but I just hate doing it, man. I've done so much repairs that I'm just sick of it. I'd rather just drop it off to somebody else. I come back and then it's all good. And then, you know, I do work in the meantime. But anyways, here we are, and I'm going to start filling these totes. What I've been doing is how I start them is I fill them up a bit, and this one could use a bit more logs maybe, but I'll climb up in there and then I'll start stacking them, and I'll keep repeating the process. So I've been piling a bunch in here. This one I just started, and then this one I've already got started as well, so I just got to stack what's in there. And then I've got one over here that I've started as well. So I'm gonna get in there and I'm gonna stack those totes and have fun watching. Okay, I do have a ladder, but it's just as easy to climb up. I got my own little personal jungle gym inside the wood yard. So here we go. I had a user ask me how I did this. So here's a video. I haven't seen him in a bit, but I'll probably run into him another time. This is a long way to, this is a time-consuming way to stack these, but because of my limited space, it helps me get more wood in here. So it kind of works out. I get my wood for free, and this is the cost, I guess. But I'm working on other ideas, how to store the wood properly and efficiently, so I can have enough space to do big volume and spend less time. So one idea that I had was to get 4 shipping containers. I have about, yeah, I could only put maybe 140 footer here. Yeah, I guess I could get maybe 2 40s And then it'd be pretty tight if I had two 20s in here as well. I'd cut out the sides and stack the wood inside, so that way I don't have to use the crates. Even if I have a skid steer to load these crates in the truck or to stack them in the wood yard here, I still got to empty the wood when I get to the customers. So it's nice to have the wood where you just stack it as is. You know, you just put it in the container and the big cutout in the side, stack it in there, and then when you want to load it up for delivery, you just go and you take the wood right off the stacks and then you put it right in the truck. And you don't have to worry about these totes. But these are a really good idea. If you have a skid steer, you can move them around. They're going to be really handy for you. And I tell people, when you're doing wood, unless you have a nice automated system, you're going to be handling each piece of wood 12 times. I mean, maybe some of that, you know, is unsplit form, right? You've got some blocks with a few pieces and you're going to move that around a bit. So you're moving a few pieces at a time because it's still not split, right? I don't mean literally every single log 12 times. But I would say every single log at least 6 times you got to move them. Now these are 16 inch. So I'm going to have 2 rows. One on each side, and I'm going to have a row in the middle. Now I don't have much wood in here, so this one's actually pretty easy to stack. Because imagine how much wood I'd have to pull out if it was really full to stack in here. Once you get a few started, it doesn't take long after that, and you'll see. Now I can start the process. And it should take me about another 2 minutes to finish these up. And the faster, or the more you go along, the easier it gets. Because wood is just out of the way, and you can do your thing, and you're doing it less hindered. Now I try to put the same length in each tote so that you have consistency. If somebody wants 16, then they get 16 inch. I do 18 inch, I do 12 inch, and I do about 14 inch. Now if you get some that are maybe a little too long, what you can do is you can use these holes in the tote to just have the log sticking out a little bit so that you can fit everything. I'm going to move over here. I'm going to start working this side. It's already going to be pretty easy to start here as well. Sometimes you can put a few in here that are only 15 inch, and that's going to help in your middle row because you can put ones jutting out, but then you have the ribs that are going to stop you from doing that, and it's not quite, you can't put 16 inch fully right through, not all the way up. Okay, maybe more than 20 minutes, or maybe more than 2 minutes it's going to take me, but it's not going to take long. Some of these big ones, they won't fit on the sides. After you get piled up a bit, then you'll notice you start having it uneven. And then you have a high side and then a low side. So it can be a little tricky when you get the next batch in too. So now I have a dilemma where I have all this wood here where I want to start stacking. So what I'll do is I'll start stacking them up between the 2 rows here, between the 2 totes, and then that'll give me some space to work with. It seems like the tote behind me is a little lower than the other, so these logs aren't stacking nice on here. I can't put too many up there, but I'm going to still try and fill as I go. Also, these big ones, you're going to want these on the outside so that they dry faster, because To be honest, you don't get the best wind circulation through these totes. I mean, you can see some gappage, or you can see some gaps going throughout, and it does get air, but sometimes the wood tends to condense pretty good, because when the wood's in here, it's actually, when it's drying, it's actually shrinking as well. You'll see there's a long one there. It's going to fit through there. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah, the wood's actually going to shrink, and then it's going to fall tighter in here. So what happens too when I fill these totes, the one underneath, I'll have a bit of a gap because the wood will drop down inside the tote. So what I'll do is between the two totes, I'll start squeezing logs through that gap between the two totes, and I'll fit a little bit more in there. Anything that's thin, because there's not much of a gap between them. So it's the slimmer stuff that's going to fit through there. Okay, now we're working out this other row on this side. And that's good. Now I can work with the rest of it. Now see what I said, how it's uneven. It's not really half the side that's, or half of the tote that's got wood. It's like 3/4 of it. It's like 3/4 or 3/4 have wood, and then the rest doesn't. So now what I got to do is try and lay out these ones here. Also too, I got to keep filling my middle row, because it's important to fill it while it's like that. You don't want to try and be squeezing logs down into the gaps. It's really time consuming. Yeah, see, this tote didn't have as much as I wanted to in here, but I'm up here to do the other set anyway, so